Werewolf Shifter Romance Audiobook, written by Trisha the Alpha's Triplet Secret. He stood at the altar, eyes cold and unyielding, and then he said the words that shattered her world. Mira turned away, heart bleeding, only to realize she carried a secret that could change everything. 3 tiny lives linked to a power he would never see coming. The Betrayal. Chapter 1. The Altar. Rejection. The moonlight temple glimmered with silver fire, every candle shimmering in reverence to the goddess above. The scent of wolfbane roses drifted through the air, intoxicating and cruelly sweet. Mira stood beneath the marble arch, her hands trembling as she waited for the moment every she-wolf dreamed of, to be claimed by her mate, her alpha, before their pack and the moon herself. But the alpha didn't smile. Ryland's sharp jaw clenched, his eyes dark as storm clouds. The crowd hushed. The priestess spoke the binding words, words that would seal them for life. And then he stepped back. "I can't do this," he said, voice low but cutting through the silence like a blade. Mira blinked. "What?" Her voice cracked, barely a whisper. Ryland's gaze avoided hers. "The council decided. The pack needs strength, an alliance with the Crimson Fang. Their alpha's daughter will be my Luna." Her heart cracked open. 1,000 nights of love, of promises beneath starlight, turned to ash in a single breath. Gasps rippled through the temple. The priestess froze mid-chant. Someone muttered, "The alpha's rejecting her." Mira's knees weakened. "You're choosing power. Over me?" He looked at her finally, pain, guilt, and duty warring in his eyes. "I'm sorry." That was all. No goodbye, no touch. Just the alpha's cold decision, echoing beneath the sacred dome. The bond between them shuddered, the invisible thread snapping like glass. Her wolf whimpered inside her chest, the pain like claws raking her soul. And then, everything went black. Chapter 2. The flight rain poured down like fury from the heavens. Mira ran barefoot through the forest, her white wedding gown torn and muddied, breath tearing through her throat. "Don't look back," she whispered to herself, clutching her stomach. "Don't look back." Behind her, the celebration began. Drums, laughter, the sound of betrayal echoing through the night. The rejection mark burned on her neck, glowing faintly where Ryland's claim once rested. She stumbled, gripping a tree for balance. Her wolf stirred weakly inside her, broken but not dead. She had no pack now, no title, no safety. But she had something more precious than vengeance. She didn't yet know it, but deep within her, life stirred, the last remnant of a bond that fate itself refused to erase. Lightning flashed across the woods. A howl split the air, Ryland's. The sound made her stop. For a heartbeat, she thought he'd come for her. But no one came. Only silence and the rain. She fled into the human world, clutching her torn dress to her chest, and vanished into the unknown. That night, the moon turned crimson, and the goddess wept. Chapter 3. The Secret Discovered Months Later. The small human town of Haven's Edge slept beneath a quiet winter sky. Inside a dim cabin near the river, Mira screamed into the cold night as the midwife urged her to push. "One more, dear. You're almost there." Mira's vision blurred. She didn't know if she was crying or sweating, only that her body burned with pain and purpose. The first cry pierced the air. A boy, strong and fierce. Then another, a girl, silent at first until Mira whispered her name. And then, a third. The midwife's eyes widened. "Triplets?" Mira sobbed as she gathered them against her chest, 3 tiny forms wrapped in moonlight. Each child bore a faint mark on their wrists, shimmering like liquid silver. The moon goddess's mark. The midwife crossed herself in awe. "These children, they're blessed." Mira kissed each one. "No," she whispered, trembling. "They're cursed with their father's blood." But even as she said it, she knew the truth. They were the goddess's answer. The bond Rylan tried to break had been rewritten in divine ink, and as the first snow fell over Haven's edge, Mira vowed, "No one will ever find you. Not him, not the pack, not anyone." But far away in the Alpha's dreams, 3 small voices began to whisper his name. Father. The Catalyst, Chapter 4. Whispers of Power. 10 years later. Morning sunlight spilled through the mist that always clung to Haven's edge. Mira's small apothecary sat at the edge of town, fragrant with dried herbs, lavender, and the faint hum of protective wards. "Erin, don't run with that knife," she called, balancing a tray of tea. Her eldest, Erin, paused mid-swing, the kitchen knife still gleaming in his hand as he carved runes into a stick. "It's not a knife, Mama. It's a focus." Lyra giggled from the floor, her hands glowing faintly blue as she coaxed a wilted flower back to life. The petals opened like it was spring. And then there was Kian, the youngest, quiet and watchful, sketching spirals of moonlight on the window with a finger that shimmered faintly silver. They were growing stronger, too strong. Mira's stomach twisted as she watched them, her beautiful, impossible children. The goddess's gifts pulsed through them like living light. If the Pax ever found them, if he ever found them... "Mama," Lyra tilted her head. "You're sad again." Mira forced a smile. "Just tired, my little moon." But when she turned to refill the tea, her reflection in the kettle caught her breath. For a flicker, her eyes were no longer her own. They glowed pure white. The goddess whispered a warning. "The shadows move again, my child." Her heart froze. The eclipse wolf had found their scent. Chapter 5. The Alpha's Dreams. The forest roared with fire and screams. Alpha Rylan jolted awake, his chest heaving. Another dream. No, not a dream. A vision. He rose from his bed, sweat-soaked, and walked to the balcony overlooking the Silvercrest territory. The moon hung low and swollen, the air thick with tension. He could still hear it. 3 voices calling out through the bond he thought had long since died. "Father." Rylan gripped the railing until it splintered beneath his hand. It couldn't be. Mira was gone. Dead, perhaps. He had searched for her years ago, driven by guilt and unanswered questions, but she had vanished beyond the borders of every known pack. Still, something alive burned through the air now. A blood link awakening. "Alpha?" Beta Kyle approached, bowing his head. "The seers request the audience. They say the moon's omen grows stronger. 3 stars have appeared in the night sky, aligned above Silvercrest." Rylan turned, jaw tight. 3? "Yes, Alpha." The old prophecy echoed in his mind. 3 born of rejection, 3 bound by the moon. He looked to the horizon, the same direction where once he'd let Mira walk away. If there were truth in these dreams, then his sin had taken a living form, and the goddess was calling him to face it. Chapter 6. The Awakening. That night, the twins dreamt the same dream. A forest bathed in silver fire, a monstrous wolf with eyes of eclipse chasing them, and a woman cloaked in light standing between them and the dark. Lyra woke up screaming. Mira was by her side in seconds, clutching her trembling daughter. "It's just a dream, my love." But then Aaron burst into the room. "It wasn't just hers," he said, eyes wide. "I saw it too." Before Mira could answer, a gust of wind blew open the window. The wards on the sill flickered and died. Her breath caught. Someone, or something, had breached the protection of the goddess. "Kian," she called, but he was already standing by the doorway, hand raised, eyes glowing bright silver. The runes she'd hidden for years burned to life around him. "Mama," he whispered, voice distant. "He's coming." "Who?" "The man from the dreams." His small fingers trembled. "The one who has our eyes." Mira's heart stopped. Far away under the same moon, Alpha Rylan opened his eyes. and for the first time in a decade, his blood bond ignited like fire. The lost Luna and the Alpha had been bound once more, and neither could run from destiny now. The Reckoning begins, Chapter 7. The moon calls his name. The forest whispered his name long before he heard it. Rylan moved through the Silvercrest border like a shadow, his wolf straining beneath the surface. Every heartbeat echoed with one scent: wildflowers, rain, and the faint sweetness of honey. Her. He hadn't smelled it in 10 years, yet his instincts knew. Alpha, Kale's voice broke through the fog. We've traced the anomaly to the northern border. Old magic. Luna magic. Strong. Rylan's jaw tightened. Mira's. Kale hesitated. If she's alive, she is. His tone was low, almost dangerous. And she's not alone. By the time the moon broke through the clouds, his eyes had already turned gold. His wolf pressed forward, hungry, furious, aching. Because of that scent, that impossible, forbidden scent, he remembered everything. Her trembling hands at the altar, her tears, the rejection that had shattered them both. He growled low and raw. Find her. The hunt had begun. Chapter 8. Run, Little Moon. Mira didn't wait for dawn. By the time the first rooster crowed, she'd already packed 3 small bags and gathered her children. The apothecary looked emptier than she'd ever seen it. Herbs scattered, candles still burning from the night before. Where are we going? Aaron asked, clutching his sketchbook. Somewhere safe. Is it because of the man from the dream? Lyra whispered. Mira froze. She wanted to lie, to tell them it was nothing. But when Kian's hand slipped into hers, his eyes too calm for his age, she knew she couldn't. Yes. Her voice shook. He's coming. Before she could move, a knock sounded at the door, slow, deliberate, echoing like a heartbeat. She spun, heart pounding. Hide. The children ran to the back room, and Mira gripped the dagger strapped to her thigh. The air grew heavy, thick with dominance and something primal. When she opened the door, a cloaked figure stood beneath the morning fog. Not him, but worse, the Eclipse Wolf's emissary. Mira of Haven's Edge, the woman said, eyes glowing black. The Alpha of Silvercrest seeks you. Her chest tightened. Tell him he'll never find me. The woman's lips curved. He already has. Lightning split the sky. Without thinking, Mira threw her hand out. The goddess's power exploded from her palm, hurling the emissary back into the trees. The wards burned bright for one final moment, and then shattered completely. The children screamed from inside. Mira turned to them. We run now. And just like that, everything changed. Chapter 9. Blood and Moonlight. The forest roared with their flight. Branches tore at their clothes, the ground slick with rain. Faster! Mira gasped, grabbing Lyra's hand as thunder shook the sky. Behind them, shadows moved, wolves, massive and silver-eyed, streaking through the trees. Aaron shouted, Mama, they're close! Her wolf stirred beneath her skin, desperate to break free, but she couldn't risk it. The children's safety came first. Still, when one of the wolves lunged from the darkness, instinct took over. Her body moved on instinct, her bones snapped, her vision blurred, and fur burst from her skin in a rush of heat and light. The air thickened with power. A white wolf, luminous, fierce, unstoppable, stood between her children and the pack. She growled, a sound that made even the shadows tremble. Go! She howled through the bond. Run! The children obeyed, but not before Kian turned, eyes glowing silver. A pulse of magic shot from his chest, knocking 3 wolves flat. Mira froze mid-battle. What did he just... But before she could reach him, a familiar scent cut through the blood and rain. Wildflowers. Fire. Him. The trees parted, and there he was. Rylan, Alpha, her once mate. His golden eyes met hers, burning through the storm. Mira. Her name left his lips like a prayer and a curse all at once. She shifted back, trembling, blood on her skin and tears in her eyes. "Stay away." He took one step forward, his wolf visible beneath the surface. "You have my children." She didn't deny it. She couldn't. Because as lightning lit the clearing, all 3 triplets stood behind her, their eyes shining the same molten gold as his. Time stood still. The truth unraveled. And beneath the moonlight, the bond they'd once broken flared to life again. Brighter, fiercer, more dangerous than ever. The Shattered Bond, Chapter 10, Sparks Beneath the Rain. The world had gone silent. Only the rain spoke, soft, endless, falling between them like a curtain of shattered stars. Rylan took another step forward. His chest rose and fell with ragged breaths, eyes locked on the 3 trembling figures behind her. His children. Mira's voice cracked. "Don't come closer." He froze. Her scent, wildflowers, fear, and defiance hit him like a punch to the gut. "Why didn't you tell me?" Her laugh was broken, sharp. "Tell you, you rejected me at the altar, Rylan, in front of everyone." The words hit him harder than claws. The memory burned, her standing there in white, trembling, waiting, while he'd turned his back for the sake of his pack. "That wasn't my choice," he said quietly. "Then whose?" Her voice trembled. "Your counsel? Your pride? Or your Luna's family fortune?" The air thickened between them. Lightning flared, reflecting in his eyes. "I lost everything that day, Mira." "You lost nothing," she whispered. "I lost us." The bond pulsed, alive, furious, aching. The triplets watched from behind her, silent and wide-eyed. And just like that, everything changed again. Because in the next breath, the ground shook. A growl rolled through the forest. Not his, not hers. Something else. "What was that?" Lyra whispered. Mira turned sharply. "Inside! Now!" Before she could move, shadows rippled across the clearing. Dozens of eyes glowed red. Wolves, black as ash, emerged from the darkness. The Eclipse Pack had found them. Chapter 11. The enemy in the smoke flames devoured the clearing. The Eclipse wolves came fast, their howls echoing like war drums. Rylan's wolf tore free in a flash of gold and fury. Fur, fangs, motion. He was pure instinct, pure rage. Mira shifted too, her white wolf glowing under the stormlight. Together, against all logic, they fought back to back, claws and teeth flashing. For a moment, it was as if the years had vanished. They moved as one. Every motion synced, every strike mirrored. The mate bond pulsed like a heartbeat. Still, even so, they were outnumbered. "Rylan!" Mira's voice broke through the chaos. "They're after the children!" He turned just in time to see one of the Eclipse wolves snatch Kian by the arm. Without thinking, Rylan launched himself forward, slamming into the attacker, snapping its neck in one brutal motion. "You touch them! You die!" But then, everything shifted. The leader stepped through the smoke, tall, cloaked in black, eyes glowing crimson. "Alpha Rylan," the stranger said, voice deep and cold. "You've been busy breaking laws of gods and wolves alike," Mira's wolf snarled. "Leave them out of this." "Ah," the stranger smiled, "but they are the reason we're here." He raised a hand, and every flame in the clearing bent toward him like servants to a master. Rylan's stomach twisted. "You're not just a wolf." "No," the man said softly. "I am what the goddess forgot." The world trembled with his power. Then, just like that, he vanished, leaving behind the mark of the eclipse burned into the earth. Chapter 12. Between blood and silence. Dawn came quiet. Too quiet. Smoke curled above the ruined clearing. Mira knelt beside the children, wiping soot from their faces. Rylan stood a few feet away, staring at the charred mark in the dirt, the eclipse sigil. It pulsed faintly, almost alive. "He wanted the children," Mira said finally. "Yes," Rylan murmured, "and he'll come again. She looked at him, eyes tired but fierce. You can't protect them. Not here. Not in your pack. They'll be hunted. I won't let that happen. Don't you understand? She hissed. They were born with the moon goddess's fragments. The Eclipse Pack knows. If they get one of them, they'll... She broke off, shaking. Ryland's hand brushed her shoulder before he could stop himself. Mira! Her breath caught. His touch still burned, still carried that spark that terrified her. You can't stay, she whispered. You're poison to us. He didn't move. His eyes were unreadable. You're still mine. Her chest ached. You gave that up. No matter how hard you try, he said softly. The bond doesn't break. She turned away, tears glinting. Then I'll find a way to tear it out myself. And as she walked away with the children, Ryland whispered to the wind, You'll need me, Mira. When the moon calls again, you'll need me. The wind carried her name back through the trees. Mira. The world tilted, and fate whispered that this was only the beginning. The Moon's Curse. Chapter 13. The Prophecy Unveiled. Soon after the eclipse attack, Mira and the triplets huddled in a cave hidden beneath a waterfall. The spray clung to her skin like icy chains, while the children trembled but clung to each other. Mom, why are they after us? Lyra's small voice trembled. Mira knelt, brushing strands of wet hair from her daughter's face. Because you're special. You carry fragments of the moon goddess. That's why. Kian frowned. Moon, what? Spirit, strength, sight, Mira whispered. Each of you holds one. That's why the Eclipse Pack wants you. They need your powers to regain their master's lost force. Just like that, the weight of truth sank into their small hearts. From there, Mira's mind raced. How could she keep them safe? Moments later, a low growl echoed in the cave entrance. Mira spun. Ryland stood there, drenched, rain still clinging to his fur, eyes glowing gold. You shouldn't have come, she said sharply. I couldn't stay away, he said, voice rough. They need me. You need me. Even if you don't know it yet. Her wolf pressed forward instinctively, claws scraping the stone floor. I don't need you. You left us once. Don't think you can fix it with one show of bravery. Ryland's gaze softened, but his jaw remained hard. I didn't leave. I was forced to choose the wrong path. But I've learned, Mira. I won't make that mistake again. The tension broke, but unease lingered. The prophecy she'd kept buried for decades whispered in her mind. The fragments will awaken under the blood moon. And the blood moon was only days away. Chapter 14. Bonds Torn, Loyalties Tested. Next morning, the trio traveled through Silvercrest territory under the cover of early mist. Ryland led, protective, always scanning for enemies. Mira's heart ached, not only for the children, but for the gnawing truth. She still wanted him, yet she couldn't trust him. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the trees. Wolves from his own pack appeared, loyal but wary, eyes filled with suspicion. Alpha Vale, one hissed. Why have you brought humans, monsters, into our lands? Ryland stepped forward. They are not monsters. They are my bloodline. You will obey my command. Obey? Another growled. You've betrayed us before. How do we know this isn't another mistake? From there, Mira's pulse raced. Could he protect the triplets if even his pack questioned him? Even so, Ryland's voice rang with authority. If you attack them, I'll tear every one of you apart. Do you understand? A tense silence stretched across the forest. The pack lowered their heads, but the distrust lingered, a knife pressed to his back. By the time they reached a hidden temple of the moon goddess, Mira realized the stakes had grown beyond the Eclipse Pack. Even Ryland's allies could turn against them if fear guided their hearts. That night, as the triplets slept, Mira confronted Rylan. You think you can command loyalty, but fear isn't enough. They might follow you now, but when the blood moon rises, everyone will want the fragments, including your own pack. He leaned close. Then we'll face it. Together. Her chest ached. She wanted to believe him, yet doubt pressed against her ribs like ice. Chapter 15. Blood moon rising. That night, the blood moon rose, painting the forest in crimson light. Mira's wolf stirred as if summoned. The children's powers pulsed faintly beneath their skin, glowing like tiny stars in the darkness. Rylan knelt beside her. They're ready, are you? Before she could answer, a dark ripple crossed the temple grounds. The eclipse pack emerged from hidden crevices, shadows moving like living smoke. Their leader stepped forward, crimson eyes glowing, a cruel smile across his face. You've led me right to them, Alpha, he hissed. The moon goddess chose poorly, and I will correct her mistake. From there, the battle erupted. Claws, teeth, and raw power tore through the temple. Mira's wolf flashed, Rylan's roared, and the children's latent fragments glimmered, warning and dazzling simultaneously. Not only that, the eclipse leader revealed a secret twist. One of the triplets' powers had already awakened, but it was unstable. Lyra shrieked as a burst of spirit energy surged uncontrollably, throwing the attackers back, but also causing part of the temple to collapse. Her body moved on instinct. She shielded Kian, shouting for the others. Rylan's golden eyes met hers in a single glance. Everything depended on this moment. As the moon's light intensified, shadows lengthened. The temple trembled. The prophecy had begun, no turning back. And just like that, the blood moon's curse had bound them all, Rylan, Mira, and the triplets, into the fight of their lives. The Descent, Chapter 16. Shadows in the Temple. Moments later, the temple still trembled under the blood moon's crimson glow. Mira's chest ached with every heartbeat as debris fell around them. Kian's cry pierced the chaos. Without warning, the eclipse leader swooped in, snatching the boy. No! Mira's scream shattered the night. Her wolf pressed forward, claws flashing in desperation, but Rylan grabbed her, holding her back. Let me go, she roared. He's mine, my son! Rylan's eyes blazed, but he knew she was right. Yet the shadows twisted, and the eclipse pack surged forward, faster than they could counter. From there, a crushing realization struck. The leader had predicted their every move. Every escape route, every defensive position, they'd been outmaneuvered. Even so, Rylan growled, fury igniting like wildfire. We will get him back, no matter the cost. The temple's walls groaned, threatening collapse. Sparks of the triplets' powers danced chaotically, unrestrained and dangerous. Mira's heart ached. Not just for Kian, but for the fragile trust between her and Rylan. Chapter 17. Fractured Trust. Next morning, Mira and Rylan retreated to the cliffs overlooking Silvercrest. Rain lashed their faces. The wind carried the echo of Kian's scream, burning into their minds. Why didn't you stop them? Mira demanded, voice trembling with grief and fury. I did everything I could, Rylan shouted, hands shaking. If I had followed instinct alone, you might be hurt too. She stepped back, chest heaving. Your instinct or your pride? You think you can protect us, but you left my son, our son, in their hands. From there, silence stretched between them. The children were gone, and with them, the fragile hope Mira had clung to. Even so, Rylan pressed forward, voice low. We'll find him, together. You and I, we're stronger than you think. Her eyes filled with tears. Maybe. But right now, I don't know if I can trust you. And just like that, the rift between them deepened, mirroring the storm raging in their hearts. By the time they began tracking the eclipse pack, every shadow felt like betrayal, every rustle in the trees a threat. Could they even survive what was coming? Chapter 18. The Eclipse's Triumph. That night, The Eclipse Pack's lair revealed its full horror. Kian huddled in a dark cage, trembling. His spirit fragment pulsed erratically, illuminating the chamber in flashes of eerie light. The leader circled him, voice venomous. The Alpha's bloodline, so fragile, so powerful, yet so easy to corrupt. From there, Mira and Rylan watched from a ridge, powerless. Every plan to infiltrate the lair seemed impossible. Every step forward risked the triplets' lives. Rylan's jaw tightened. We can't wait any longer. We have to strike. Mira shook her head. If we rush, one wrong move and he's gone forever. We have to be smarter. We have to be patient. Yet the night offered no patience. The Eclipse Pack unleashed a fragment of their shadow magic, casting illusions that tore at their minds. Mira saw Rylan attacked, then vanished, then reappeared. Her instincts screamed danger, but the truth was impossible to discern. Her body moved on instinct. She howled, letting her wolf surge, pushing past fear and doubt. Rylan's golden eyes found hers through the shadows, a single glance anchoring her soul. At that moment, the Eclipse Pack's trap snapped. Mira and Rylan were surrounded, their backs pressed together, hearts racing, the fragments in the children thrumming violently. Her chest ached, the weight of failure pressing down. This is it. We've lost. The Eclipse leader's cruel smile stretched wider. The Alpha and his mate. All that power, yet so weak. Soon, all will be mine. The Final Push, Chapter 19, Sparks of Hope. From there, Mira and Rylan retreated to the hidden caves of Silvercrest, the wind whipping through jagged rocks. Their muscles ached from running, but something inside them refused to give up. Listen, Rylan said, voice low, trembling with urgency. We can't just charge in blindly. They've set traps, illusions. We need to think. Mira's eyes scanned the cave walls, lit by flickering torches. Her wolf stirred, instincts pulling her toward a hidden passage. There's a way. I can feel it. The shadows can't hide everything. Next, she knelt and pressed her hand to the stone floor. The fragments in Kian thrummed beneath her touch, erratic but alive. That's why we're not too late. Even so, doubt gnawed at her. Could they trust their instincts after so many betrayals? Could they survive this final push? Rylan's hand brushed hers. We're alpha and mate. We survive. Together. Without another word, Mira nodded, letting the spark of hope ignite between them, a quiet flame against the darkness surrounding them. Chapter 20. Gathering the Pack. Soon after, they began rallying allies. Wolves loyal to Rylan, some hidden for years, gathered silently in the forest. Every movement was measured, every shadow examined. Check the perimeter, Rylan barked. His voice cut through the cold night like steel. We move fast and we move smart. Mira glanced at him. No one has ever commanded so much trust without fear. She shivered, not from cold, but because her heart recognized the man she once loved and still feared. Meanwhile, whispers of the moon goddess's prophecy swirled in her mind. The triplets were not only their children, they were keys, fragments of power that could turn the tide. At the same time, small victories came. The illusion traps were neutralized, scouts sent forward returned unharmed, and Kian's spirit fragment pulsed steadily, signaling life and hope. Rylan, Mira said, voice trembling but determined. We can do this. They can't hold him forever. Rylan's golden eyes glimmered. Then let's end this. The question lingered. Could their pack hold against the full might of the eclipse? Chapter 21. The Reckoning. By the time they reached the Eclipse Pack's lair, the air vibrated with dark energy. Shadows twisted and writhed across the walls, reacting to the triplets' fragments. As if fate demanded it, Mira and Rylan stepped forward, hearts pounding, wolves within them ready to surge. Stay close, Rylan whispered. No matter what happens, We protect the children first. Her body moved on instinct, pressing forward through the dark corridors. The Eclipse leader emerged, tall and sinister, eyes burning with shadow. Welcome, Alpha. You're too late. Truth be told, Mira's heart skipped, but she refused to falter. With a single glance, Ryland's presence anchored her. The pack behind them growled in unison, a low rumble that shook the stones. Without thinking, the battle erupted. Wolves collided, claws slashing, teeth flashing, sparks of magic mingling with primal fury. Mira felt her wolf surge, senses alive, power flowing through her veins as she protected her children's fragments. Moments later, Kian broke free, spirit fragment blazing brightly. Ryland fought at her side, strength and strategy merging seamlessly. Every strike, every dodge, every roar carried weight, urgency, and love. And just like that, the Eclipse leader faltered, shadows flickering as the triplets' combined fragments pulsed with power. Mira seized the moment, channeling their energy. This ends now. Time stood still as a blinding wave of light erupted, shattering the Eclipse's illusions, sending the dark pack scattering into the night. The lair fell silent, save for the heavy breathing of victors and survivors. The children ran into their parents' arms, their fragments glowing faintly, alive and whole. Her chest ached, relief flooding her. We did it. We actually did it. Ryland's eyes softened as he pulled her close. Together. Always. The Resolution, Chapter 22, Dawn of Freedom. As the first light of dawn pierced the canopy, Mira breathed in the crisp forest air. The battle was over, but her heart still raced. Her wolf pressed forward, scanning the shadows for any lingering threat. Ryland stood beside her, coat dusted with debris, muscles taut even in victory. It's finally quiet, he murmured, voice low, golden eyes soft but vigilant. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the triplets, now nestled safely between them. Each fragment, spirit, strength, sight, glowed faintly, pulsing with life. Her soul answered to their presence, a wave of relief and awe washing over her. Mom! Dad! Kian's voice rang, innocent and clear. The children ran into their arms, small bodies warm and trusting. Mira's chest tightened with emotion, realizing how much she'd protected, feared, and hoped for this exact moment. And just like that, everything changed. The weight of past betrayals lifted slightly. The threat that had haunted them was gone. But the scars, emotional, physical, remained. Ryland pulled her close. We survived. We'll rebuild. Together. Chapter 23, Healing and Confessions. Soon after, they returned to Silvercrest, the pack's territory now alive with cautious celebration. Wolves moved through the woods, sniffing the air, tails flicking, whispers of relief passing through the ranks. Mira glanced at Ryland as he oversaw the pack's reorganization, authority and warmth blending seamlessly. Deep down, she knew the truth. The Alpha she once feared now felt like home. I was wrong, Ryland confessed as they walked along the moonlit cliffs. I let ambition blind me to what truly mattered. His voice trembled, not with fear, but with vulnerability. I lost you, and I lost our children, even if I didn't know it fully. Tears blurred Mira's vision. Ryland, we survived. We have them. We have each other. That's what matters. He cupped her face, thumb brushing a tear away. I'll never let anything, anyone, take you from me again. Her body moved on instinct, leaning into him, their hearts colliding in a mix of longing, relief, and unspoken promises. Meanwhile, the triplets giggled nearby, chasing each other through the grass. Their laughter was a song, a beacon of hope, a reminder that love and courage can rewrite fate. Chapter 24, New Beginnings. By the time the sun reached its zenith, the pack had gathered for a ceremony at the ancient moon goddess ruins. The children's fragments were acknowledged, their gifts honored. Mira felt a surge of pride. These were not just her children, but living legacies of courage, love, and destiny. Ryland's hand found hers once more. "We have a lot to rebuild," he said, voice steady, eyes burning with resolve. "But I promise, this time, it's for us." Mira smiled, heart swelling. "Then let's start. With us." The triplets ran forward, laughter echoing, tails flicking in the sunlight. Shadows of the past, the eclipse, the betrayals, the fear, had faded. Yet even so, life would continue to test them. But now, they faced it together. Alpha, Luna, and children, bound not just by blood, but by choice, love, and destiny. The forest exhaled, the moon goddess's fragments pulsing faintly, a gentle hum of power and protection filling the air. Mira knew they were exactly where they were meant to be. Her soul whispered a promise. No darkness could ever undo this light. Epilogue. Mira and Ryland stand together under the moonlight, watching their triplets, Kian, Lyra, and Thorn, play and display the divine powers they inherited from the moon goddess. The moment reflects their healed bond, mutual love, and the family's resilience after past betrayals and dangers. As the children's gifts shine, Rylan and Mira reaffirm their commitment to each other and their family, embracing a future filled with unity, hope, and strength. The story closes with the triplets' legacy firmly established, symbolizing love, courage, and destiny fulfilled. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more.